So Sarec is made up of 4 industry associations. All of them are involved in the solar and wind power sectors. There are 3 solar related industry associations: CSP, Solar Water Heating, and Solar PV, and then the Wind Energy Association. I'm the CEO of the Wind Energy Association and the chair of Sarec. Eskom has participated in the conclusion of 3 rounds of renewable power procurement programs. The government has initiated this program so that there can be an addition of independent power via renewable technologies since 2012. We have now just achieved the 4th and expedited round of those of the bid rounds, and at the 4th round, Eskom has refused, actually including the 3.5. There was a CSP. There is a CSP project that they have also included in refusing to sign and conclude power purchase agreements, which means there is no financial closure, which means we can't build the power plants, and all of the work that went into preparing the bids, including making commitments at local community level, all of those are on hold until Eskom signs these agreements. We are talking about 50 billion rand worth of investment in that set of projects. There are 37 in total. 10 are small and 26 are wind and solar, and then a diversity of wind, solar and biomass, and then the last one is the CSP. And that represents a significant, the 50 billion rand is the investment value, 13,000 jobs in construction, 2,000 in operations, so 15,000 jobs in total. And then it is difficult to quantify the qualitative value of the arrangements that have been made, the agreements that have been made with communities for local economic development and socio-economic development. So I have today received a message from a manufacturer, tower manufacturer in the Eastern Cape, who are needing to retrench staff as a result of waiting for this conclusion of the PPAs. So in summary, you have the PPA process, which has been concluded. Eskom has not enabled the last part to be done, and then that has had a 50 billion value effect, plus all of the 15,000 jobs, plus all of the promises that have been made at local level, and all of the socio-economic, the local economic development effects around manufacturing, cranes, transport, all of those things that link up to the construction process. Yes, so the process should be as followed in the first 3 rounds, where there is a ministerial determination, the request for proposals is put out, competitive bidding proceeds, and you have a selection process which is competitive and trusted, internationally and nationally, really trusted. The winning bidders are announced. That process should have, in the first 3 years, it took no more than 1 year for that process to conclude. We're now looking at 21 months. In the case of the 3.5 bid window, the CSP project, 25 months. It's not routine for that to happen. You normally find that when you are starting something new, you do your learning, you adjust, you figure out how things are done. The next round gets a little bit better, and that's how it goes. When you do your 4th round of something, you expect that things will be faster and smoother. So it doesn't make sense to us that Eskom is now deciding that, especially on the basis of cost, it doesn't make sense to us that they should now object to the process. It is incredible. Just yesterday, the Deputy President was reported as pointing to South Africa as an investment destination, pointing to our renewables program as this flagship example of what can happen when private investment is enters the market. And yet we see in our experience now, we have investors wondering what is going on. Is the program stalled? Will it continue? Will round 5 be announced? Will the expedited round bid winners be announced? So much uncertainty has long-term knock-on effects on investment potential. So we have other IPPs that are about to bid. There was a request for proposals for gas. There's for coal. There's one forthcoming for gas. What are those IPPs meant to think? If Eskom is putting a ceiling at 62 cents, which is not, it's not allowed to do that, but if it is, will it accept only coal and gas at that rate? Will it accept nuclear at that rate? Those all have quite significant ripple effects throughout the economy. So we first of all have sought a legal opinion to understand our legal position. We've had this for a month. It took a while to generate that opinion, but we've had it in our possession for a month. We reached out to the affected IPPs and worked with them on approaches that they would like us to take as we represent them. The choice we have made is that we want to work with government. This is a government-led program. We want to seek a solution, and we want it to be found without further delay. So our approach has been to find out what our legal position is, to understand what position of strength we can operate from, and to have a basis on which we can engage with government. And so that is what we're doing. We're not intending to sue. We're not intending to take the legal opinion and take Eskom to court. We believe that there's sufficient evidence to indicate to our leaders, to the presidency, to Treasury, to Eskom board, DOE and Treasury, to say, why are you not doing what you need to do, Eskom? It has got a value of power production. We've seen so far that there's been the CSIR has released figures on the power generated. The first 3 rounds had a price path which has declined. The tariffs have gone down. We are now seeing renewables at such a competitive rate. They are significantly less than other technologies. Around that program is all the jobs that have been created. The IPP office has produced figures. You can see there's 4,000 megawatts of power that has been generated, 64 active projects in operations, and they are spread around the country. Local content has been exceeded in terms of what has been required. And the socio-economic development investments, so these are the community projects and the investments that are made around the sites, the power sites of various kinds. The developers have actually exceeded what is required legally of them. They've contributed 127% of their requirement. So those kinds of contributions include things like bursaries for youth to ensure that they can study. There's no requirement, for instance, that bursary recipients should stick with renewable energy. These are general education bursaries. There are things like schools, clinics, parks. Communities decide what it is that they want, and the developer enables that to happen. Where there's insufficient resources in the community trust, the developers often help or bring in government partners like the IDC. So there's a lot of value beyond the power generated at the price it has been generated.